Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Radio Geonosis, where we talk about Star Wars from a certain point of view. I'm Angie.
And I'm Aaron. What's going on, guys?
Hey, and it feels like it's been a hot minute. It
It
really, really
has.
has. I had to take a little bit of time off. I had a doggy that I have a dog still that he fell off my bed at the end of October, and he ended up hitting his head really hard, and he's
Oh
been
no.
kind of out of it, and so I've been nursing him back to health. So it's taken a lot of time. So I kind of stepped away from the show for a little bit to do that kind of thing. But anyways,
We're back.
we are back. We're going to be talking about the Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, the Rise of the Sky. Yes.
And a little bit about the Mandalorian. I hope everybody in the room has seen it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're also just going to be talking a little bit about, what's been going on, what we're catching up on. I like his drink right there. That is the Old English. Wow, that
Yeah,
goes back.
Roach has an old English.
That goes back quite a ways. But anyways, before we get to all of that, we're going to be talking about the hot happenings for this week.
And I do have one for all our Star Wars gamers out there, Star Wars fans and gamers alike. For those who don't have Star Wars The Fallen Order game, if you don't know, they have already announced that the game sold out complete, like they made all their money back and everything like that, and they're announced
because they know how to tell a story.
Exactly. They actually are announcing some downloadable content that should be coming. A lot of the people who pre-ordered the game felt like it should have came with a lot more. It came with a BD1 skin and also a skin for the ship that you guys are in, but a lot of people begged for a lot more, like more costumes, more saber colors, more saber pieces. So I believe there's more of that stuff on the way.
Imagine they actually listen.
Yeah, and then Battlefront 2, the huge update that happened to Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront, that made it feel like the old school Battlefront 2, is out. So if you guys have Star Wars Battlefront and you updated your Battlefront game, you know that you guys got the Rise of the Skywalker characters, and a lot. I think it was like 4 new maps, something like that.
Wow.
So a lot of stuff happening with the Star Wars games right now. So
Did they add any of the Knights of Ren?
not in Star Wars Battlefront. They didn't. But the new Kylo Ren, as far as like his mask, how it was put back together.
Right, with all the red. Yeah.
That Kylo Ren is in the game. But the big thing with the Star Wars Battlefront is you could attest. Well, you could tell me the name of the troopers. The ones with the Imperial troopers with the red.
Okay.
That was like the big update. That was like the big new characters that came to this update.
Yeah, all of them that are
All
red.
of them, all of them that are red. So if you have Star Wars Battlefront, you updated yours, you should have those characters. And Fallen Order is going to be having some DLCs coming soon. So make sure you guys are on the lookout for all that.
I have a friend who his name is Hip Hop Trooper, and he
I met
was
him.
originally the one wearing the red
He
stormtrooper
was.
costume. Even though it was Adidas,
Yeah.
he was the original red stormtrooper.
He was.
So I don't know. Maybe somebody saw something and said, "Hey, that looks pretty good. Let's do that for the movie."
Yeah. It could have been, because I know, like, with Star Wars Battlefront, they really had to go back and give the fans what they wanted, and they did. So that's why the update. It took a while for the update to come, but it was huge. It was a massive, massive update. So, and it's
But
like the number one online game right now.
Yeah, and it's a good storyline, and that's one of the things that I've heard some rumors, I've seen some things online about, and like I said, it's all rumors. I don't know exactly what's going on, but how J.J. Abrams did not want his name on the final cut.
Hmm.
There is a cut that J.J. Abrams did. They're saying that his cut is different from the Disney cut. So I don't know if there's a difference. But one thing I did find out was that the first 2 weeks of a movie being released into the movie theaters,
Hmm.
that's when the companies are making the money.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
after that is what did we discuss that?
Yeah.
Anything after that, the movie theaters are making, because
The
they've got to reap back
They
what
got to read back what they put out as
right.
well.
So maybe
Yeah.
they want to re-release it with the different cut,
Uh-huh.
because they did that for Avengers, right?
Yeah, they also did it with Justice League, I believe, the Snyder cut, which like are becoming infamous. The Snyder cuts. They're not. I don't think all of them are out yet, but like I know, like the Justice League and the Batman and stuff like that. Like,
I don't want to go see a movie that has, oh, that's 20, it has 7 more minutes, that kind of thing. It would be
yeah,
ridiculous.
because you're not even gonna know exactly even when.
Exactly. You're like, okay, what just
Yeah, what
happened?
did I miss? Yeah, what did I miss? But as far as the happenings, that's what I have. So all the Star Wars gamers out there, there's a lot of stuff for us. There's a lot of stuff going on as far as Star Wars games.
Yeah.
So
So for me, I don't have any hot happenings, but I can tell you about events that I've done.
yeah, yeah.
I did the orphanage on the 6th of December. We went to see the movie on the 19th, and I did that with Four Colored Fantasies. That was really fun. It was really fun. They gave
Mm.
away a really cool swag bag. Also, I did the Hollywood Parade
Hmm.
this year, and I thought for sure I'd see myself, but I didn't.
No.
Last year I did. Last year I did.
Yeah,
Long Beach Con is coming up,
it is.
and the funny thing about Long Beach is, sadly, we won't be there,
Hmm.
but they keep using mine and my friend Josh's fight on their commercials.
Oh, really?
Yes, so we
Oh,
show
that's
up on their
awesome. That's awesome,
commercials,
Angie.
and it was even on Channel 5 last time they were there. I think it was in October.
Yeah.
September or October. They did a Long Beach Con, and I ended up on TV and I wasn't even there.
And I know our fans know, or our listeners know that you do a lot of charitable work and you're out and about a lot doing these different Star Wars events. So if you guys are at any one of them, you might see Angie.
Maybe,
They might, yeah,
maybe.
they really might,
Oh,
honestly.
oh, so you put this on the worst part.
I did put so right
For
now
what?
in the background we have the Mandalorian the season finale, and right now the two troopers are basically just being really really rude to Baby Yoda.
Spoiler alert.
So if you haven't, you know what, if you haven't, and it's crazy. I was talking to Alex at our job, and he's not a big Star Wars fan at all, but he somehow got one of the Mandalorian. He loves the Mandalorian, and I'm starting to see that on Twitter. I see that a lot too. There's people who aren't Star Wars fans but watch The Mandalorian.
These guys cannot hit a can.
They
Can you
can't.
believe it? They can't hit a can. And so that's what I was like, what's wrong? How are they not hitting this thing?
Yeah,
I think it's meant to be a joke.
I think so. Yeah, because just basically to show that they're kind of shitty soldiers, or
Well, I think because their helmets prevent them
from
from.
okay,
Right.
okay,
IG-11 is probably one of my favorites. I was really sad at the end about him,
yeah,
but he was so good as the nurse droid.
yeah,
He was so good as the
He
nurse
was.
droid, the protector.
The protector, yeah.
And so, but the show is really good. The Mandalorian, I love this show because it's like the Clone Wars, and even it's like any of the movies. It's a very easy story to follow.
Yes.
And and you catch on what's going on pretty
Yeah,
fast.
and I think knowing John Favreau and like knowing the way how he does his movies, that's what he wants. He likes for people to just like be able to just turn on his movies and like get the gist
I
already.
get it. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that kind of thing.
Yeah, he doesn't really like he's not a confusing guy, John Favreau. He's just like straight to the point of everything. You kind of know what's going on as soon. And I think that's why there's more Star Wars fans who are going to become because of the Mandalorian.
Yes.
Because again, there's people who I know that don't really. And he just punched Baby Yoda right now, really, really hard. And IG-11's here right now
To take care of business.
to take care of business.
That was the best part. I was like, don't hit him, don't hit him.
For
But
Baby Yoda.
while we're talking about this, I was also able to go in the time that I didn't do my show. I was able to go to the Mandalorian
premiere. Yeah, talk about that.
I went to the premiere. I was able to go with Saber Guild. It was so much fun, and my friends and I love this part. Oh man, this guy gets beat up pretty bad. Look at that.
Oh yeah, he does really, really bad. Really, really bad.
I don't think they live.
No, they're done.
Both of them are done.
I think they're both done.
I love it.
Yeah.
So what happened was we had gone out to get something to eat prior to going into the Mandalorian and the premiere, and so my friend John and Michelle and myself, we were standing out after we got our credential.
Mm-hmm.
We're like this one area, and on the other side of this grassy wall was where the movie stars were going to come. And so a lady walks up to us and says, "Are you with AT&T or no Verizon and or are you with Lucasfilms? And I said, we're with Lucasfilms. And she goes, come with me. And we ended up in the front as they came in. I was like, oh my gosh. So I got quite a few pictures, and I've met Pedro before. I met him at Disney at the D23 event.
D23, yeah, that's right.
So we got to meet him again. It was so much fun.
That's so much.
We got
so
to see
crazy.
the first three, and they were asking as we sat down, who has seen the show, because the first episode was already out.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people raised their hands, but I didn't. And so they said, well, we're not going to talk about it. And they asked that we not write anything about it.
Yeah.
The episodes that we saw.
Yeah.
The first one, I was kind of, it's going, and kind of dozing off just a little bit. And when I saw that Baby Yoda, I was like, what
You're
the
wide
heck?
awake. Yeah, you're wide awake.
Oh my God. I was like, that is so cool. Now we don't see Cara Dune until the fourth
episode. Yeah,
but she has really.
She's really she plays a really vital role, and her and the Mandalorian are basically a team. They all three become a team by the end of
yes, and
by the end of the show.
The thing I like about her is that she probably did a lot of her own stunts because she is a UFC fighter.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that she was, and she also had her own movie a few years ago.
Did she really?
She did. I forgot the name of it, but Antonio Banderas was in it and chasing Channing Tatum. She was basically like a spy.
And I think she actually is in Fast and Furious too.
Yeah,
I think
she is.
5.
Yeah,
she was one of
Gina
the body.
Carino. That's her name.
She was one of. See.
Yeah.
Cara Dune, Gina Carino.
Yeah.
She was one of the bodyguards.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really cool to see her character develop throughout the show. I loved it.
Yeah.
I think this was Jon Favreau's and Dave Filoni did it such a good job.
And what I do respect about this show is that the bounty hunter aspect is like throughout the whole show.
Yes.
Like it doesn't lose sight of just the bounty hunter aspect of it, because that's what it is. And he's constantly not on the run per se, but he's doing bounty hunter things. He can't stand still. He can't be stagnant. He can't stand still. He's around,
right,
trying to get rewards.
But that's what they do.
Yeah,
that's what they do. And you really do see a lot of the Mandalorians with jetpacks and stuff. And I'm like blown away. I'm like, I want one.
and that's because that episode where they all do come in and save him, basically, where he's down to his last. He can't really escape. He's pinned down, and they all come for him. And some of them are on jetpacks, and some are ground forces come on our jetpacks. Like, I really thought that was dope how they did that.
But the last episode, where they show the story of how he became a Mandalorian, blew me away. Yeah. And you, when I was watching it, I was like, what the heck? What the heck? We find out that Cara Dune's from Alderaan.
Yeah, Alderaan, yeah.
I was really happy because my Jedi character is from there.
Yeah.
We find out his name.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also find out that it's not just the Mandalorians are not just Mandalorians. It's a creed.
It's a creed.
So I was like, oh my, could you be any better than this? Yeah, it just was awesome. Now, this episode right here that we're watching, see all these stormtroopers?
Yeah.
They're from the 501st.
Oh, wow.
And quite a few of them are my friends.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I posted a picture of me stabbing a stormtrooper.
Uh-huh.
He's in this.
He's in this episode?
John Portman is in this.
Oh, wow.
Yes. He's in it.
I wonder what that... See, and I wonder... because I know the 501st are stamped and everything by Lucas, by the Lucas family, the Lucas team. When they all get that call, who does that call go to, and how do they know?
It'll go to the LFL representative through the 501st. And what it was very secretive. Mm-hmm. They told them, hey, we're going to need about 50 stormtroopers.
Got you.
And then because they didn't have enough costumes, but Dave said, hey, I know some people in the 501st. These costumes are legit. These costumes are movie accurate. Yeah. So that's why they were able to use those guys, because the costumes are what you see in the movies. It's exactly
what they have. What they have.
The only thing John told me that they had to do was they had to learn how to hold the guns a specific way. Okay. And they had someone who was in the military who was there helping them hold the
gun a
guns
certain way.
correctly.
Oh, okay. So that's the only thing they really needed.
Yeah, that's all they needed. But this part was just unbelievably cool.
Yeah.
Unbelievably cool. So on the 19th, I went to the Edwards Theater in Rancho Cucamonga for movies. It was Movies 22 Rancho Cucamonga. And we were going to go see The Rise of Skywalker. I was really excited because I thought, this is going to tie it all in. This is going to. And I left there thinking, what did I just watch? What in the heck was that?
That's not what she said.
Yeah, it is. It is what I said. What the heck was that? Because I loved The Force Awakens. I can pretty much recite that movie because I've seen it so many times.
One of my son's favorite movies.
It is really good. They established new characters, kept some old characters, but gave you a story. And in The Last Jedi, I feel they kind of stayed with it but veered off, and kind of in a certain way kind of lost us. Yeah. So when they did The Rise of Skywalker, I thought we were going to see them bring it all back in. Yeah. Instead, they pushed it even farther out.
And I know your frustrations with the movie.
It was real, and I've asked quite a few friends that are staunch Star Wars fans, and even David himself said
that's why I wish David was here.
I wish he was here. I tried to get a hold of him, but
it's okay.
He might have been working.
He might have been working, or
but he
like that.
Didn't even like it. I'm like, wait, what? And he did not even like it. He said there was aspects of it, but he did not like it.
Which I did assume that David was gonna like the movie. My approach to going into the movie was, because it's not that The Last Jedi, I liked The Last Jedi. It wasn't my favorite Star Wars movie. I just couldn't. There's no way it could have got any worse. That was my.
And now you know the horrible truth.
You definitely don't like it more than I do.
No, I don't.
What I like about the movie is that I think a lot of things people are upset with, and this is just my opinion, which obviously means it's not valid or it doesn't make it right or anything. I just felt like a lot of things people wanted would have been just too obvious, like Rey being Luke or Leia's daughter or something like that would have been too obvious, because that's something they could have just told us in The Last Jedi, but they didn't.
Well, with that being said, they could have done it without her being the child to a Skywalker. Okay, yeah. They could have done it with a Jedi who was in the temple and that was killed, or however you want to do it. But there was too many things pointing to that fact. The saber. If it was Palpatine, now the saber calls to her. Why does it call to her? Yeah. If she's a Palpatine, why would it be calling to her? You didn't see Anakin Skywalker's saber call to Palpatine. Yeah. So it just didn't make sense. Yeah. That part didn't make sense because they were kind of touting it that way. It calls to you. You have this power. Yeah. You're coming down the Anakin line, because Anakin was the most powerful Jedi. Aside from Yoda, and she couldn't be Yoda's child. Yeah, there's no way. So they kind of touted it this way. So it led us to believe that. Yeah. Now Palpatine was different. If you watched 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6, yeah, you got that idea that he was his own deal, and he was orchestrating stuff, but he was not. You could tell he was not like that strong in the Force, because Anakin could have taken him over. Out. Yeah. Anakin could have.
I think with Palpatine though, his character is more so, like, yeah, he's powerful, but the vibe of his character is like he just knows the tricks.
Well, of course he knows the tricks, but so how is it that his granddaughter ends up being the best and so good?
Yeah, and I don't know if Palpatine did any dark Sith magic on actually choosing the women to have Rey's. I'm because this is what I could be wrong, but what I'm assuming is that, like, he found a couple, they couldn't have kids, and he did some kind of Palpatine
But see, that's
type.
just us assuming that,
And
and
again,
that's
and again, I mean, that's kind of what 8 left us to do. The Last Jedi.
yeah. It was it was too many. With 8, there was so many broken stories not answered, and it continued into 9.
Yeah.
Because you don't find out about Finn, you really don't know about Poe.
Then they throw that other girl in there that was with Finn out of nowhere.
That's true.
Exactly.
And
So
then,
where did she come from? And so that's
yeah,
Konami chiming in. So it just didn't add up. There was too many open ends.
yeah,
And there was, here Finn is this really important guy, and then all of a sudden he's not.
yeah.
And same thing with Rose. We're touting Rose as this, she's going to be a lot of meat and potato in the story.
Oh, she
and
wasn't
she gets like
anything in the
3
movie.
minutes in the movie.
Which to me, I didn't mind Rose not getting any.
You know what? I
It
really
confused the love circle though, because I thought like Finn and old girl, and then it made me think
Finn and
okay,
Rose. Finn
Yeah.
and
and then it made
Rose.
me think like, okay, is Finn gonna start talking to the other chick now? Like I didn't know where they were going with that.
Yeah, I just
don't
didn't
know
like. See, there was too many open ends. Then you would have thought that he would have put it together like the Rise of Skywalker. That's what I mean, like the Force Awakens. That's what I thought we were going to see, something like that.
Because it's either that or unless like 8 was such a mess where he didn't really know how to.
He could
bring
have.
it back together.
All he had to do was go back to the movie he made, and just add on to that, and that would have finished up the story.
Yeah.
Instead, she's a Palpatine at the very end. If you haven't seen this, spoiler alert, she calls herself a Skywalker.
She does.
And she goes back to Tatooine, which makes no sense at all. Why in the world would she go to a planet and be at a house that she has no family ties to?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, how would she know where it is?
Yeah.
Because did Luke tell her in a spirit?
I don't.
See, that's what doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but they can't put all that stuff.
No, they
in the
can't.
Movie.
They can't put it in a movie. But why did they put it in the movie? Because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
She could have gone back to her planet, where she was from,
and bury those lightsabers there.
Exactly.
Unless she knew that's where, like you said, she knew that's where Luke lived, or.
How would she know where Luke and Anakin lived? Did they ever talk about it? Like I said, there was too many open ends. In The Force Awakens, you don't get that.
Yeah.
She's looking for her parents, yeah. But in the end, it all ties in together.
Mm-hmm.
At the very end of the movie, you're of the understanding. She knows what she needs to do. She needs to go find Luke. She needs to train. She needs to bring him back to Leia.
Yeah.
You're of the understanding of that. When you watch The Last Jedi, the good part of it was when Luke was talking to Yoda.
Yeah.
All that comes together because Luke has always been someone who was confused. He was not like his dad. And that even when you're watching 4, 5, and 6, you see the uncertainty in him.
Mm-hmm.
So where you see where he is, he is still teetering on, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
And so with this one, you're like, what? That's what I thought, and why have them kiss? That was fan service.
Well, they
should have just let her die and let him be the last.
I thought that was coming from The Last Jedi, though. I'm not gonna lie, because when they first introduced that, they were speaking through each other through the Force.
But again, that is Palpatine doing it.
Again, it was Palpatine that was like bringing them together. But they both kind of let their guard down in those conversations, because even when Luke walked in, he saw them about to touch hands in the Last Jedi. So like, to me, I kind of figured that was gonna possibly happen. There was no way that Finn and Rey were gonna get together.
No, I didn't think I thought she would be more of a, just I'm by myself. I never thought that they would be together either.
Yeah.
I never assumed that. I thought maybe he and Rose would maybe be a little bit of a couple, but they weren't on at all.
They weren't.
I really hate that Hux got like 3 minutes. Dark Ray got like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And so did the Knights of Ren. I'm like, all this touting of this Knights of Ren, and then they get like wiped out in like 2 seconds flat.
Because 9 definitely felt like Rey's. It was 9 was more so
Rey running around with the lightsaber.
It was Rey figuring out. It was Rey going through what Jedis go through, to me, and that's all this confusion, like a lot. Because every Jedi that I've seen and I've known, read about, they're like they're confused. They're really really confused. They don't know. They don't know. They're trying to find like their purpose, their path, and they don't. And Ray's in that. Ray really hasn't been trained, so she's
No.
like kind of just doing
But
all
she
this
did know that
all the whim.
she needed to do specific things. She was of the understanding of
Yeah.
that. And in 9 it was like Lost.
Yeah.
They had this wayfinder, then they lost the wayfinder, you know, and
Mhm.
it just was stupid. It was really stupid. I mean, I really am sad. I saw on the news, on this news channel, this guy said he does a podcast and goes, I would use this to get information. I would have the CIA use this to get information from people because the movie is so horrible they probably
Oh
can't.
my goodness!
Yeah, I
no
was
way.
like shocked that he said that. He said this was one of the worst that they have done.
What?
Yeah, and I also heard that the guys that did the last oh my gosh, what was that show? It was on HBO. Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Those guys were axed. No, they're not doing a. They're not
doing a show anymore.
No,
I
they're
thought they
not
were going to
doing-
do a
no,
series.
No, I just pray that Kenobi they can do him justice just like they did the Mandalorian.
I think Kenobi they can, because I think what Kenobi's a little different. Like he has a legit, like not a legit story, but it's a story that.
But Rey did too. She actually had a story. They established it in The Force Awakens.
I just
They do establish it. They establish that she's a powerful force wielder, but now they've got to figure out.
But see, how it all like see, they didn't know. Not saying they didn't know, but like we didn't know the rest of her story. So I know they could have possibly done a better job. Just that Rey, we don't know anything about her anyway. So it's kind of like, well, here's what we wrote for her. Here's her story. Because there was nothing concrete anyway. There was no comic book. There was no graphic novel. There was no anything. So it's kind of like, here's Rey's story. This is Rey's story. You know what I mean? And we kind of can't really. It's hard to. It's easy to not like the movie, but like as far as like Rey the character, because to me 9 was about Rey finding out certain shit about herself instead of like everyone else. I feel like 9 was just like, Rey, find out who you are, and she did, and they had her find out who she was. You know, she found out she was a Palpatine through Kylo Ren. You know, finding out how he put I don't know how he put the pieces to the puzzle
But it
together,
seemed
but
like
he did.
Kylo Ren went from he kills Snoke, who apparently was a puppet, because we see a lot of them in the container by Palpatine.
Yeah,
which looks stupid in there, you know.
But see that when I saw that,
you thought of clones.
And that's always been like a thing for me being a Star Wars fan, is like, is that really happening? Does that really go on? And it does, because they took that from what was going on with Starkiller, and him having all those clones.
Yeah, but and
it kind of solidified it.
But there's a story there. We really don't find out much about Snoke. We just find out he was a puppet.
Yeah, he was a puppet this whole time.
Yeah, so he was just like like we see Muppet babies.
Yeah,
just like that. You know,
yeah.
But there was no substance to him. Now we know Kylo Ren is now leading the First Order.
He is.
But then he's like this guy that's so confused, doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, it was really. They could have put this story together a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they could have given it a great send off. Instead, they gave it a horrible one. In my personal view, I mean,
it could have been tighter, as far as like it could have been a bit more cohesive. You know,
yeah.
From Force Awakens, what should have happened was that after Force Awakens, JJ should have just done the second one.
Yes,
should have done all 3. When you sign up. Any movie I've seen that had a sequel and another director gets a chance, like, usually doesn't go as smoothly because someone else has their own interpretation, their own ideas that they want to put out.
It was the same thing with Twilight. They had Catherine, this Catherine Hedworth, I think that was her name. She did the original one, which was really really good. She is such a good director. She did Lords of Dogtown. Mm-hmm. She did Little Red Riding Hood, which was really a cool story. And she made Bella have depth. Mm-hmm. And then you see it kind of change because they changed directors.
Yeah.
And I think some of the Harry Potters were like that
Were
too.
like that too.
I think
People have their own
take on
things like
yeah.
that. And obviously with The Last Jedi, which no one really was like fond of because so many questions were left unanswered. I just felt like JJ had just so much to cover. There was just no way to like
But he also
go back those years and kind of just like.
But he also had his hands tied, from what I understand. He
did.
really could not. He had to put certain things in there.
Yeah.
You know, and people were talking about, you know, they always have to have all these political things in there.
Mm.
Back in the 40s, we were going through we had Prohibition,
Mm-hmm.
we had the Depression,
yeah.
we had all of these things. People went to the movies to forget about that stuff.
Yeah.
And a little girl named Shirley Temple actually saved the movie industry because her movies made people happy. They forgot for a couple of hours what was going on.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talk about there hasn't been powerful women. There have been powerful women in the industries,
yeah.
making their way silently through things. You know, I think when you go to a movie, you go there to forget about what's going on outside of that. And I mean, when you drag it into a movie, I just hate it.
Yeah.
I really do. I hate it because, you know what? Just tell the story. Let us be entertained for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, in 1977, we were 78, I believe it was 78 or 79. We had a gas crunch where people were, you know, and then in the early 70s they were draining pools because we had a drought and everything. You didn't see that in Star Wars.
Yeah, no.
You went there and you forgot about that stuff.
Yeah.
So it should be the same. You know, to me, it should be the same.
So what do you think? What do you think should happen after? Like we have episode 9's out. That's the end of the trilogy.
End it, man. Let it go.
So what do you want to see next from
I would like to see Old Republic, but I would like to see Favreau do it. I would like to see somebody that has Star Wars background.
Yeah.
I really, you know, and ask George. You know why this show is so good? Why The Mandalorian's so good? They had George help them. They had George put in his input. Hey, you know, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
That's why this story touches you like it does. That's why The Mandalorian is so good.
Yeah.
Because George, the creator of all of it,
had put his 2 cents.
Put his 2 cents
in. He was able to put his 2 cents in. I would want to see the Knights of the Republic too.
Yeah.
I would love for it to get back to it being plenty of Jedi and plenty of Sith, and then
plenty of story,
and plenty of battles. And again, that's why I liked 9, because 9 and all
a lot
the
of battles, and
there were a lot of battles and the Force power,
like
a lot of because that's what I enjoyed.
Because
that.
You're what? You're a gamer.
I'm a gamer, and seeing that in the game and seeing it like actually like translate to the movie was pretty cool. You know,
but you can leave it in the game and give us a story. You know, the game should always be here. The movie should be here.
Yeah.
You know, it should be two different things.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's gone now, you know, so leave it there.
But I would definitely want to see Knights of the Republic, or you know, Kenobi is supposed to be coming to Disney Plus.
Yes, and I think they're going to be very careful how they portray that.
They have to. They have to.
And then I saw online that Revan is now canon. And to me, after the movie came out, Revan's canon now. I think they did that to save face.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were truly disappointed with this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only gone to see it once. I don't know if I want to pay to see it again. I will wait till it goes on DVD.
I saw it twice.
That way I can... I try and get through The Last Jedi.
So what was worse for you, The Last Jedi or 9?
9.
Was worse than The Last Jedi?
Yeah.
No way, I don't believe that.
Yeah, it was. To me, it was.
Really?
Because when I leave there and I'm like, what? You know, that's... I think there was a lot of people when we left the movie theater.
Were there any clapping in your theater?
A little bit.
They were clapping. They were clapping. The both times I see it, they were clapping. Obviously not everybody, but there were like a round of applause. Like,
you know, for someone who's just came in on it, you know, they've never seen or really never paid attention to a Star Wars movie, this is probably great.
Yeah.
But if you know a lot of the lore, you're thinking, to me, it just should have had more of a storyline. It really was not there really wasn't a storyline there that you could follow.
Yeah.
And it seemed like just everybody running around. That's the whole thing seemed like that to me.
Yeah.
It was fast. It was running around. That's all it was.
Adventures.
Yeah, but if you're going to end the saga, give us a story.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
I understand. I could definitely see both sides of. I could definitely see why people like it, and I could also see why people don't like it. I understand, especially with the hiccup that was Last Jedi.
Yeah.
People wanting it to come full circle. Okay, like people looking forward to 9 because they knew that JJ was gonna bring it, or assumed he was gonna bring it full circle.
Yeah.
And so I understand where the frustration is. My thing again.
Love that fight.
I do too. I'm not saying that it was my favorite, because Force Awakens is my favorite out the series. You know, I just felt like how they introduced the characters.
Yes, they gave them depth.
You know, was in a classic way. I just think after Episode 8, there was only so much you could do, and again, which this Episode 9 is the longest running Star Wars movie. There was still only so much he could fit.
Right,
into those 2 hours and 12 minutes.
And I get it.
You
but
know.
if you're going to fit it with some content that people are going to be able to say, I understand.
Yeah.
You know, and instead of saying,
what?
Okay, there was a lightsaber battle, they're all on this planet, she's in the water, there's a light, pulls down the which no Jedi has ever done, pulls down the entire ship.
Well,
Although Yoda lifted it out of water. He did not pull it from the sky.
I thought that was impressive though, because that has happened before, and there's been that's you know that could be done. Not like pulling like a Star Destroyer, like Starkiller pulled a Star Destroyer off the sky one time.
So maybe that's what they're basing it on.
You know what I mean? But again, this movie, if you know the Starkiller story about the cloning and the dark Sith science and the Force abilities that we're seeing in 9, that's where I kind of understand, like,
we're basing it again on a game.
On the game, you know what I mean? So there's not, and with the game, there's not like too much story, because at the end of the day, it's a game, so it's not like too much story. But I understand like where people wanted those pieces filled in.
Yeah, they said there was definitely a lot of fan service there.
There was
a lot of fan service. I would have preferred the story.
I understand completely.
Because this, you got a story.
Yeah.
You got fan service, but you got a story.
Yeah.
And the one thing that, I said about all the movies that made it so fun all the way up and to 7, it was, all the movies have always been like swashbuckly. Mm-hmm. They have always had a bit of humor. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like you didn't get that in the last 2.
Yeah.
You did get a little bit. I take that back. In 8, you did.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of that, off-camera humor. Mm-hmm. But in 9, I don't think you did. You really didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't get the feel of Star Wars.
I feel like the Leia death should have been bigger too. Like,
it was more so just real quick.
Her daughter did. Her daughter did a lot of the CGI for that.
Really?
Yeah, they brought her daughter on to to do the the face.
Oh wow.
The CGI stuff,
for it. Yeah.
I feel like it should have been like some sort of celebration or like.
Yeah, it seemed like she's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put the blanket on her and and that was it.
Here we have the most decorated general.
It's to me, bro. Just as it like, if I'm coming in from a director standpoint, Episode 8, right? So like that didn't go well. So then they're like, all right, JJ, like, come save us.
But I don't think he did.
He was. 9.
I think someone else was directing it. The guy left, and JJ had to come in and finish it.
Yeah. So
so
again, that's even worse. That's a worse scenario than what I'm saying.
What is that telling you? What is that telling you? That the guy was trying to do it one way, and they wanted it another.
They should have never had JJ not do the 8 anyway. That's where you messed up. Not having the same director because again, it's not like Force Awakens was a bust.
No.
People love Force Awakens. So why have JJ not do Force Awakens? I mean, The Last Jedi.
Yeah, or
because you're kind of
Skywalker.
Because that's where you're not destined for any success if you do it that way.
Yeah.
So then one director leaves.
About knocking another one out and getting that money.
You know what I mean? So one director leaves, he leaves. Like, I'm not doing this.
And
You know
then
what
they
I
have
mean?
to do. That's
So
why
it's
they
like
had all
Jada
those
come like.
reshoots and things
You
like
know, they
that.
have to do all those reshoots. So you're asking him to like kind of do the impossible when
Well-
you already have this release date set.
Right, and then they also they did the same thing for Solo, but I will say that Ron Howard put it together. It's a cute little story. It
Yeah.
isn't, it's just a side story that I thought was really cool. Gave you some depth about him
Yeah.
and how he was this.
That's what I thought about Rogue One.
Oh, Rogue One was excellent.
I thought it was actually. Rogue One reminded me of like Battlefront. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but there and again, you had a story.
you did.
You
did.
had a story that you were following. You got yourself. Oh my gosh, you're totally involved in this story, just like this.
Yeah.
You're sitting there and you feel you're in the story. Whereas the movie, I felt like I was just everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's my personal thing. Love the baby when he said, "Do the hand thing," and the baby's waving. Oh my God, that was. It was so funny. I mean, but see, here and again, you have that Star Wars humor.
Yeah.
That they put in those little quirks.
Yeah.
Even with IG-11.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even with the guy that died. What was his name? Grill.
Yeah. Gil. Was it Gil? Gil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You felt that. You felt part of. He was. Everyone's saying, "I have spoken," because it was a cute, catchy phrase.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Rise of Skywalker, what catchy phrase was there?
Yeah. They were really
no.
I saw the Rise. I saw the movie twice.
I'm gonna have to go see it again.
Just see it. See it. I feel like I even have to see it again too, like on the big screen before.
How sad is that? You have to see it how many times before you before you get it? But I'm looking forward to
what's next
to Kenobi. I'm looking forward to that. I would like to. Hopefully, we're going to see a Revan. We're going to maybe see a little bit of Anakin.
Revan
how about February 7th?
Revan might be Keanu Reeves.
February 7th.
February 7th
is the return of the Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars.
Yep,
it is,
number 7. It would be the 7th series.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really cool.
I don't think so. Yeah. Someone's walking in the studio.
Yes.
Right
now. Okay, so that's going to do it for us today. Aaron, we will be talking again about the movie, and do you want to go? Let's go over like the Mandalorians.
A little more.
Yeah, a little bit more. Some of the things that you liked about it. Some of the things that you feel that the story could have had, or what were some of the cool quirks that you liked about it?
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Okay?
I'm all for it.
All right. So from here at Radio Geonosis, we're going to see you next time.
Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Make sure you guys follow us on all major platforms.
Yes. We are on Facebook at Radio Geonosis 2.0. We are on iTunes at Radio Geonosis. We are on YouTube at with Radio Geonosis. And we also have a Twitter page.
Yeah, so make sure you guys follow us. And a huge shout out to David who couldn't.
Yes. I'm going to try and get him in here next time so we can double tag team you.
I definitely want to know.
But I like Konami's input because he's like me, just was completely confused when he left the movie theater.
He was. He was. He was.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.